So I listened to this expert, basically, well, a psychologist, okay, and he was being interviewed by this other guy. It was on YouTube. And this psychologist, okay, he doesn't agree with the fundamentalism of or the Christian fundamentalists, and it's like, but here's a guy that believes he thinks that and he believes in aliens. He believes in aliens maybe being out there, and they're just having a discussion. I'm not trying to rip on him. What I'm trying to point out here is how foolish he sounds, and he doesn't even realize it. And it just confirms the Bible to me, because God says, even in Genesis, so early on, he says, I'm gonna grow weary with mankind. I'm going to grow weary with mankind, because mankind does the same thing. They become their own God. All of them do. And this guy proves it. But there's so many right now that prove it. And so they're taught, because he can't consider, it's just childish to believe in the Bible. Yet these people, they've never read it. They've never read it. They haven't. There's no way they could. Maybe they could, and could they be that stupid then? Because this is all in the Bible. It is. He even goes on to talk about grays. I guess this is some form of extraterrestrial. Like there's the bad grays and the good grays, and if we're not on our best behavior and develop, we don't manage our evolution properly into a good moral compass, the aliens will come down and take us over. Yeah, well, guess what, dude? They already did. They're called the fallen angels. They came a long time ago. It's in the Bible. But see, you don't want to read that, right? Because you think you already know, because you're so educated that you became overeducated into stupidity. Stupidity. Total stupidity. Because he believes whatever somebody tells him about the Bible. See, Buddhism is easy and light. It's not like you have to give much thought to, maybe some of it you do, but so he talked about Buddhism, and it's like, dude, because he says how, Buddhism makes you develop, you evolutionize into having a moral compass. No, dude. No. Because that's being your own God. Buddha doesn't believe in God. Buddha's sitting on the tail of Mukalinda. I mean, so that's playing God. That's playing your own God. That's really, really clear in the Bible. Like, no. This is the problem with mankind. This is why God grows weary of mankind. Can you blame him? Because it's the overeducated that get to go in and get educated by other men and women and then think that they're experts, okay? This is the problem with experts. And become so expert that it's like, no, we can't consider the Bible here. Buddhism is trying to help people manage their evolution, and if there are extraterrestrials or aliens of some kind, we do need to show that we can evolve. Well, you know what, dude? It's just it shocks me. I'm like, you know what? You're an example of why God keeps the overeducated blind. Because the one source that you won't consider is the one source where everything you're talking about is at. There are no aliens, okay? There's fallen angels, but they've been here for a long time. And he even went on to talk about, because he was really talking more about the occult, believing that stuff, which really you should in a way. But he was talking about in the occult world, they believe of a spirit living. This is what he said exactly, lives in the world of electricity and magnetism. And you know why this is huge? Is because Jesus says the prince of darkness is the prince of the air. Prince of the airways, electricity, energy. What did Trump talk about early on when he would call like Jeb Bush low energy? You're low energy. But he wasn't saying it because he was trying. He said energy is one of those words that Trump has used many times. Not in regards to infrastructure necessarily, but just he has a way. He's a communicator in a special way. Like it meant something. Even before any letter or anything. And I don't follow a letter. But I'm just saying, I noticed that early on when he was campaigning. I'm like, he really uses this word energy a lot, not pertaining to bills or infrastructure, but about people. So, And then the Bible, of course, says the prince of the air, the prince of darkness is the prince of the air. Well, electricity, it's in the air. Magnetism, it's in the air. It all proves the Bible is my point. And yet these people, these overeducated, once again, they've been made blind. I hate to say nobody can be saved, or that there's people that, but I would think that if God has the delusion on you that much that you're considered, like the guy interviewing this man, this psychologist, and his name was Robert Fillico. Robert Fillico. He's a psychologist, retired, or I'm not sure. He's dealt with like MK Ultra patients. Well, you'd think that once you dealt with that, you would realize there's a God. But they don't, because they became educated where? Too educated, overeducated, spent too much time in that university, no matter where it is, and that wickedness got a hold of them. And it's like lets them, it keeps them blind. He does, because the guy interviewing him said, he's like, oh yeah, no, this idea that somebody's coming down from the sky, this is just ridiculous. It's like, really, this is why the Bible says that God grows tired of man, because of the foolishness, because of not recognizing what is clearly obvious, or not even wanting. Like, most of these people have never picked up the Bible, but somebody's told them it's just nonsense, so they believe it. But I think even if they did pick it up, they don't know how to think. They think that they think, but they don't. They don't, because the Bible really makes you think. You know, like I've said before, you have to do some pondering. But if you're too busy in your Buddhism, and you're which doesn't believe in God, but you're going to believe that you yourself are going to evolve into some higher consciousness, yeah, you're showing all of you people that are staying on that road, you overeducated, that can't step outside the box and see that Jesus was the true God, and it's clearly obvious. Enjoy your stay. Serious. I mean, because if you can't see it, then you should be more worried about why you can't see it. And you should be really asking yourself, have I ever picked up the Bible? Have I ever read it? And then if you have read it, or you do read it, and you still can't see it, then I would say, you know what, just make the most of the time you have here. Because this is so obvious. Its children could see it, which would explain why God or Jesus said, I tell you that you have to be like children to get in the kingdom of heaven. He didn't mean to digress into child maturity, but he meant to be able to see that big. Because when children easily see God as one God. Plus, they're still connected to their spirit, because I've said before, the whole reason the wickedness in the air of this world wants to cause trauma right away is to break the person from that true spirit of themselves. And that true spirit is that spirit God puts in us that's made in the image of him. And so they like to cause trauma to split that. It's still there, but I'm just saying, I've talked about this in other videos. So this explains why God says, in order to get in the kingdom of heaven, you have to be like a child, because you have to be able to still be connected to your spirit like a child would. And you can see this very clearly then. But there's so many people right now, and they're all the overeducated. They have no, like, they just need to make the best of their time. They really do. Because I think at this stage, if the delusion is on them this much, they're this blind, and they don't see it, then it's because maybe God's already passed judgment on them.